There we go. All right, we will call the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m.
Sorry, I got to do YouTube and Zoom.
All right, I don't know if you got that, but meeting was called to order at 6:32 p.m. Could I get a motion to adopt the agenda for today?
Loretta?
Can I just make a change to the agenda really quick?
Oh, yes.
So we will not be going in camera today for either of those two items. And Curtis will explain the process that we're going to use instead of going in camera when that time comes.
Okay. Do we need to get an approval for that change, or was it just a note? Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda for today?
That works. It works the way it is because we're going to do the motion.
Okay. Okay, so can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? I have Loretta, a seconder. All in favor? Carried. Okay, could I get a motion to adopt the minutes from February 23rd and March 24th? Now, February 23rd, could that be adopted if most of the people weren't at that meeting? How do we work with that?
So I did talk to the clerk about this. We will adopt it because we have more quorum now. It's just, it doesn't work.
Quorum
Right.
numbers
So
changed,
we'll
so
just
it doesn't
approve
work?
them and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so can I have a motion to adopt the minutes? Marcia, seconder, Shanna, all in favor? All right, carried. Any conflicts to declare? Seeing none. Okay, committee business. Santa Claus parade.
Okay, so Sebastian, this is kind of going to be with you and I. So let me just replay this in my mind. So last council meeting, council directed staff to go back and discuss with other municipalities how they run their parade. So I know Stephanie collected a bunch of data from other municipalities. I would say, if I short form that the majority of the other municipalities do operate to some degree their Santa Claus parades. However, we've got to sit down with the Santa Claus parade folks and figure out a game plan for this year. So I don't know if anybody has any suggestions on what they would like to see or which direction we should head, but I know that we still owe Sebastian and Tanya a meeting to circle back on that and provide council some additional feedback on options of which way we want to go. But essentially the concern from the Santa Claus parade, and Sebastian, feel free to jump in here, was the liability and accountability in running a large scale event such as the parade. And essentially the volunteers would be responsible for their own insurance and any liability and risk associated with the event, as the city was simply providing funding and in-kind services for that function. So that's essentially what went to council, and council asked staff to go back and figure out what most other municipalities do. So there will be a subsequent report going back to council, providing that clear content. But in the meantime, I don't know if there's any other ideas this committee may want to put forth or suggestions that you guys might have in a path forward on this, to see how we could look at options. So I'll open the floor to you guys to have conversations.
Yes,
Marcia.
Yeah.
So I attended the Ontario BIA conference last weekend. So we had 180 delegates there. I actually did bring up the Santa Claus parade when we were in our group discussions. And again, huge majority were run by the city. They were very surprised that we had it by volunteers, by an organization. But what they had told me is a lot of them actually apply for grants. And I did get the information. So most of the people who run it are actually through a grant application that the city applies for. And so this grant is paid for by the province, and it covers 75% of the wages. And that's their person. And then they sign a contract. It was really neat. And Niagara Falls does it. St. Catharines does it right now. Collingwood, all the people we had talked to, a lot of them are using this granting process to allow, so they actually are the ones organizing it. And that's so like how we're, Steph doesn't have the time, Curtis doesn't have the time, but this person, that is their contract, is to organize the Santa Claus parade. And again, 75% of their wage was covered. And then the other 25% was actually covered by other grants. So both Niagara Falls and St. Catharines were telling us that they don't even have to pay anything for those people. They have 8 people in Niagara Falls that run it, that are all covered by the province, their wage. So I can definitely get you guys the information, but I thought it was a great thing that we might be able to look into, again, because lack of manpower, we don't have the city staff to always organize it. But again, it's a great way that a lot of other cities are doing it and being able to man it.
Okay, Joanne, I see you look to have your hand up or comment on that.
Seeing as I'm the grant person for the city, Marcia, if you can connect with me with that information, I'll definitely look into that so we can apply for some of these grants.
Okay, that's a great potential solution for 2023. So thank you for that, Marcia. That's great. Any other comments on that? Feedback? Potential options? It's a tough one. Yes, I know. It's a tough one. Okay, so that we'll leave it at that thing, guys. Sebastian, I will be reaching out to you shortly on a potential solution. Councillor Decker, I don't know if you want to be part of that conversation. That's up to you. But we can sort of run you through the information we've discovered and then potential options that we can consider for the 2022 parade anyways.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be great if you can include me in the what you come up with. Thank you.
I'll invite you to that meeting as well. Okay, so Sebastian, I think we can move on to the next agenda item then.
Sorry, another question for you, Joanne. Then do we move Roundtable down, or do we want to get through that before what was the closed session?
Yep, so you can do the closed session right now before the roundtable.
Okay. So the closed session, I guess that's coming back to you, Curtis.
Fantastic. All right. So last council meeting, council approved an event, which is essentially the torch relay run through St. Catharines. And what that also involves is we need a torch ambassador. So essentially there's going to be a torch relay run through all the municipalities, and each individual municipality will have a torch ambassador. So right now it's posted on our website for people to submit applications to be the torch ambassador or nominate somebody to be the torch ambassador. And essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation that Stephanie put together, but she's on vacation this week, but she wanted me to share. But essentially, again, I'll walk through the slide presentation, but there's going to be a survey go out to you folks to essentially select the ambassador. Okay, so we'll be looking for feedback from you guys to essentially pick one of the candidates that have applied. I don't know how many there are. I haven't read any applications. It's sort of a closed book, if you will, until it closes, which the date is tomorrow morning, if I'm correct, Joanne. I think it closes tomorrow morning.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so I'll walk you through the slideshow now. And any questions, feel free. We'll wait to the end because I don't think I can see you actually, but we'll wait till the end. Okay. Everybody can see that? Hopefully everybody's got that, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Let me just shrink this so I can actually read it. Okay. Hopefully that's slide one. Each municipality will select a youth ambassador representative that will carry a Canadian flag during the national anthem. The youth ambassador will represent the diversity of the Niagara region, 13 flags, 13 municipalities, one country. Application, the City of Thorold has posted a youth ambassador application online. As mentioned, the application deadline is Friday, May 6th, which is tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. To apply, candidates must meet the following criteria: 12 to 18 years of age, and a Thorold resident. Selection is part of the application. Potential youth ambassadors have been asked to write a brief summary of why they think they should be selected as Thorold youth ambassador. Their responses will be collected and summarized in a brief survey to be evaluated by the Special Events Committee, which is obviously you folks. In a sec, I see a chat box come up. Marcia is stepping out for a minute, and she'll be back as her son is also applying. So good to know. Thank you.
So just to pipe in, Marcia, you will have to declare conflict of interest once the presentation is over, I guess.
Yep, that's fine. Special event committee responsibilities. Voting members of the committee will be sent an online survey to score each response. The individual with the highest score will be selected as Thorold's youth ambassador. The survey will be sent the morning of May 6th. So tomorrow morning, you should get an email from Stephanie, or it might be the community services email, to be honest. Responses from the committee are due by Monday, May 9th. So you got about 3 days or so to read that. And then at noon, they need to be submitted. And again, we apologize for the short turnaround time, but the Canada Games folks need an answer from us pretty quick. And I think that's it. Let's make sure. Okay, so I think that was more or less it. I think. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any slides. It wasn't moving anymore. Oh, no, there's a little bit more. So let me keep going here. Let me share again. It just froze. Sorry, Zoom can be funny. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen again. This is the next slide, slide 5. So important reminders, applications are confidential. Please do not discuss your selections with anyone outside the committee. Staff will review committee responses and contact the successful applicant. The successful applicant will be announced by the city when selection process is finalized. Musical entertainment. Vinyl Flux will perform a headliner between 8 and 10 on Canada Day. In addition to Vinyl Flux, Thorold is searching for 1 to 2 additional musicians to perform. So this is simply Canada Day update. That's what this is. So Vinyl Flux has been selected to play on the Canada Day. In addition to Vinyl Flux, Thorold is searching for 1 to 2 additional musicians to perform on the evening of July 1st, which is obviously the Friday or Canada Day. Call for artists. A call for artists was posted online. The application was shared with local artists and bands to invite them to apply. Artists have been asked to apply before May 13th to be considered. Selection and survey with artist information will be emailed May 14th to voting members of the Special Events Committee. Committee members will have until May 16th at noon to provide their input. Based on the cost of the preferred artist band, staff will contact 1 to 2 artists bands to perform Thorold Canada Day. Important reminders, application information is private and should not be shared with anyone outside the committee. Applications who do not reside within the Niagara region will not be included in the survey unless the committee would like to see these options as well. We're looking for volunteers. The city of Thorold is looking for volunteers for summer events. Our volunteer application is online on our Canada Day webpage. Volunteers are required to apply online to participate, and there's the link there. Okay, so just to update everybody on what's actually taking place on Canada Day there. So in Canada Day weekend, I should say. So Canada Day, we've got Vinyl Flux selected, and we've entered into a contract with them. But as per the feedback we received from this committee, we do want to have a couple more bands, and we heard some interesting country or other types of groups for that night. So that's what we're simply asking you guys to do, is get your input to select the bands. On the Saturday night, we're still doing the tribute to Tim Sinnett, which that's going through sort of the former channels that we had previously. So the group of folks that used to run the Canada Day event are facilitating that side of things, because again, that was sort of Tim's baby, and these guys know those bands intimately, and they're working on contracts for them to facilitate. So those bands will be announced shortly once the contracts are signed and facilitated. But so the Saturday is sort of taken care of from a Blues in the Battlefield sort of concept in honor of Tim Sinet. And then the Friday, which is Canada Day, we're looking for your feedback, and that's where the bands will be presented to you in the survey, and you guys can ultimately select one or two additional bands for the Friday night. Okay, so that's generally it in a nutshell. But the torch relay thing, again, watch for that email tomorrow morning. If you don't get it, please feel free to reach out to myself or even Joanne and let us know that you didn't get the link. But Marcia, you don't have any homework this weekend. You're good. So there you go. Any questions about that? Pretty straightforward. So thank you to Stephanie for putting that slide together. So she kept me on track, but there you go. That's it in a nutshell.
All right. Thank you very much, Curtis. We'll move on to roundtable. Let's start with Loretta. Anything for you? You're still muted.
Okay, sorry about that. I can't think of anything right now. Thank you.
All right. Shanna.
No, nothing for me. Actually, I did have a quick question about the application that was going to get sent. Do you know like what platform is that? Is like a Google type application? Just want to make sure that what I'm looking for is correct.
It's either going to be SurveyMonkey or Google
Okay.
is typically what Stephanie uses. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. But that's everything. I didn't have any other questions.
All right. Counselor Decker.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Paula.
No questions.
All right. And Marcia.
Just a reminder that tomorrow kicks off cruise night, Friday nights in the summer in downtown Thorold. So I encourage everyone to come down, check out the cars, check out some of the local businesses and restaurants. And it'll be running from 5 o'clock to dusk every Friday.
All right. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate you coming out. Can
Sebastian,
I
I
have
do have one more thing.
Oh, sorry, Curtis.
So
One
just-
time I don't ask you.
No, it's fine. No worries. So moving forward for these meetings, we do want to start talking about budget considerations for council for 2023 and any sort of types of specific events that we do want to consider that we can put it to council for their consideration. Again, no promises, but if you don't ask, you won't receive. So Joanne, I see you've got your hand up.
So on that note, it is an election year. So we will not be having meetings in August, September, October, and November. So everything needs to be done before August 2nd.
Good to know.
Okay, so not to put any more pressure on you guys, but and then in November, we will be electing a new board. So if you want to be part of the board again, you'll have to reapply. Because it goes with the term of council.
Sorry, and Joanne, how do they reapply?
We will send out, I don't know if it's going to be a link or an email, or it's for sure going to be on our Facebook page and on our website. I'm going to be sending an email myself to all the committee members of all the committees to let them know that if they want to reapply, please go to this link. And then it'll be a selection process like it was previously. It goes to council and then they choose who they would like to see on the committee.
Sounds good. Okay, Marcia, you've got your hand up.
Do we use the Celebrate Ontario grants and all that? Do we optimize all those? Joanne, do you know?
We do have Celebrate Canada that we get for the Canada Day event. I was gonna say parade, it's not a parade. But I don't think we have Celebrate Ontario. Is that a different grant?
Yeah, I attended a seminar. I'll get you everything, but again, what I had found out is almost all the events that are run through cities now are actually grants. So they're planned out a year and a half and ahead. And like they were all surprised that a lot of our stuff was budgetary for our council, because a lot of it had to do with they were just applying for $100,000 grants, and almost like small towns were getting it. Like it was pretty like getting all these grants, and I was like, oh, we're so far behind. Like I had no idea how much money is out there. But I'll definitely get you guys the information. It was a nice eye-opening, especially for this committee, because I know we could do so much if we work together, but especially if we can get the funds and it's not coming directly from the taxpayers, I really think this could be a really successful group and see a lot of things happen. So I'll get you everything I learned at the seminars. Just for if you guys are planning, it's a great way to try and get some money from the province and the federal government.
Okay, thanks, Marcia. Paula?
I think the grants are a great idea. That's amazing and would be really beneficial for us to use. What are we looking to cover with the grants? Is it time for that conversation now, or is that like a bigger conversation to have later? Or so as far as like I know it was mentioned having a person on contract who would just plan, right? That's part of the budget, I guess, or what we would consider for the grant. What are some other things that we would consider for the grant or that we could use the grant for?
So, sorry, Joanna, see you took your microphone off, but basically what the process is that, yes. So the budgeting process is just that. So once we have a plan, we can apply to the grants based on that plan, which ultimately will make council's job a little easier because of the funding's there. It's pretty easy to say yes when you're not paying for anything. So, but one thing we do have to keep in mind, just like the Canada grant that we got for the fireworks this year, yes, we did receive $10,000 as part of the grant, but our purchasing policy is that we have to have the money up front to spend, and that money essentially comes off the top. So it's not an added bonus in terms of funding. It simply reduces our expenditure, if you follow me on that. So that's why grants are great, but ultimately for a lot of the stuff, the money has to be sitting there, because at the end of the day, you need to be planning to do it. And then the grant can be applied to that project. But at the end of the day, I don't think necessarily that we're simply going to not do it because the grant money's not there. It needs to be sort of a great bonus. Let's put it towards that project. So that's where it gets a little tricky sometimes. Joanne, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's right. I was actually going to speak to the other part of the grant piece. So every grant has what you can and cannot spend your grant monies on. Some are staff monies, some are non-staff monies. So let's say renting porta potties or things like that. And some grants you can stack. So as Marcia was saying, you can do 75%, 25%, some you can't stack. But that's where I come in. So I look at all of that stuff and I bring it back to the committee and I say, okay, this is what we can and cannot do. Do you want to apply?
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and ultimately any grants we apply for, council does have to approve the application.
But on that note, they never say no.
True, fair enough. Okay, that's all I had anyways.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Anything that was missed? Paul, is your hand still up or just from before? Okay. All right, then could I have a motion to adjourn? All right, and we don't need a seconder or a vote on that, or I would
No, we
forget.
don't need an adjournment motion anymore, just the time that we are adjourning.
All right, it is 6:56 p.m. and our next meeting. I guess we should bring that up. Do we have that in there?
So the next meeting, I think we had discussed that we were going to leave it on the same date. So that would have been May 19th, I believe. Yeah. Do we still want to leave it for May 19th, considering we can't meet past August? Or what would you like to do?
I'm okay with going on the 19th because like we said, we do have quite a few things if we're hoping to cover before August, but open to hear what anyone else thinks.
I'm good.
Me too.
Okay, let's leave it for the 19th then, Joanne, and we'll see if it needs to change. We can, but let's schedule the 19th.
Yeah. So May 19th would have been a regular day. Today's a special meeting because it's called to talk about the Santa Claus parade.
All right.
And the youth ambassador, I believe. So.
Yep, that's correct. Sorry.
All right. Sorry, I don't know if I timed the adjournment. So then 6:57 p.m. we adjourned. Is that good, Joanne?
That's perfect.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone. Have a happy Mother's Day this weekend.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you.
Also.
Happy Mother's
too.
Day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Night.